Welcome to the next big bet, a podcast series that highlights the most exciting startup sectors in India, brought to you by Creddinv. Today, the guest on our first episode is Mr. Deepender Singh, the co-founder of Swizzle. Hello, Deepinder.
Hi Karthik,
How are you?
doing great. How about you?
Yeah, great as well, man. So, could you just tell a bit more about where Swizzle is right now and how you guys are doing?
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank you to introduce me to your platform and inviting me for today's podcast. So myself Deepender, I am currently working as CMO and co-founder for Swizzle. So what we are doing at Swizzle? So we are trying to disrupt the market, which is filled with artificial flavorings and artificial sweeteners. So if you see the beverage industry, all the products which are available in the market are either made of natural identical flavorings or artificial flavorings. What we did at Swizzle, we did an extensive R&D of about 1.5 years and came up with the products which are made of all natural ingredients, hence providing a very authentic and aspirational product for the market.
Okay. How did you get this idea?
So basically, we are two founders in the company, and my other founder, Brinda. So she is someone enthusiast towards food and culinary. Has been doing various courses into food products,
Okay.
beverages, and down the line 5 years back, she recognized a gap in the market that everything which I just mentioned, every products into the beverages are made of these artificial flavorings. So, with her expertise into foods and culinary, she started to deep dive more into that. On the other hand, I was working in Delhi, so we are close friends since almost 9 years. We are batchmates, graduated from same college. And when this idea came to her, she discussed it with me, and we together deep dived into the market, researched about what variety of products are available in the market, and once we validated yes there is a gap, then we started working on the R&D part, and hence we started up with the concept of Swizzle.
Interesting. I think it's more or less like how we bring the dreams that our friends have during the college times,
Ye-
which we speak about and then bring it to the table. I think you have made it into a reality.
yeah, you can like actually consider that, because in college also me and Vrinda, we both were fascinated towards entrepreneurship, businesses, to start something of our own. We both have previously run small companies, we'll say, during our college time, and with that vision, hence we landed up to start with the concept of Swizzle.
Understood. So you were saying that there are no artificial sweeteners that are involved in Swizzle. So I am expecting it to be on the healthier side of the mocktail beverage industry that you're taking it forward. So yeah, I think now every Indian is looking to take the healthier alternative rather than going to a Coke or a Pepsi. So how is it that you're looking to align your startup with this? Do you think there's a demand?
Definitely, there is a demand, and with the increase in consciousness of consumers,
Mm-hmm.
there is a great shift towards healthier options. Now people are reading out what they are consuming, and this change is not a very slow change, it's a rapid change.
Mm-hmm.
It's day by day consumers are reading out it on various newspapers, various articles, that these beverages and these additives are not good for consumption.
Mm-hmm.
So that shift is actually creating a demand for the healthier beverages options in the market,
Mm-hmm.
and we completely align with those ideology, with that market demand.
Okay.
So to start with, only we first removed the artificial flavorings with
Mm-hmm.
the natural flavorings.
Okay.
On the other hand, we also ensure that we are not using any artificial sweeteners,
Understood.
like there are fructose, sucrose, invert sugar,
Mm-hmm.
various sweeteners which commonly are used in the beverage industry.
Got it.
And considering those aspects, we have created a product at Swizzle,
Mm-hmm.
which aligns completely with the demand and the need of the consumers,
Okay.
to provide them a beverage which not only just quench their thirst, but also is a healthier option for them.
Understood. My investors and the viewers here are all looking to be more healthier down the line. So can you elaborate a bit more on the natural content of the Swizzle, the products and the brand that you're trying to create?
Sure. So I'll explain you with my product portfolio
Yeah.
itself. So we have almost four flavors in the
Mm-hmm.
cans. So when we talk about triple berry, so it's a berry flavor made of strawberry, raspberry, and blueberry.
Okay.
So we actually use these real berries in our processes.
Mm-hmm.
We take them to our proprietary processes in which we have to heat them, take at certain pressures and temperatures, maintain certain parameters, and we are not using any flavor essences or natural even natural extracts also we are not using. We actually use the real berries,
Mm-hmm.
and that enables us to extract that flavor from it. And to give more light onto it, I'll say in our products on the back side of the label you will also find a fruit percentage in the drink
Okay.
that you won't find in any conventional aerated beverages in the market.
Okay.
They will just write a flavoring agent
Mm-hmm.
because they are not putting anything which can give them a fruit content in the product.
Okay. For the layman terms, can you give like a comparison of Swizzle's fruit content?
Sure. So into currently in our beverages we maintain around 3 to 4% of fruit content.
Okay.
It's a carbonated beverage, it's not a juice.
Mm-hmm.
Still we are able to provide a 3 to 4% of fruit content in our drinks.
Okay.
And if you compare it to any drink in the market, be
Mm-hmm.
it Coke, Pepsi, or other brands also coming into the premium spaces, I would not like to name them as
Yeah.
of now, but you will clearly find out that they are not using they are not claiming to have any kind of fruit percentage in their drinks.
Okay. That seems to be a good knowledge, I think, because we are a lot of consumers of Coke and Pepsi. I think we need to switch to Swizzle like alternatives and more sort of Swizzle, I guess. So, Dipinder, FMCG market in India is supposed to be growing at a CAGR of 27% by 2030, and we expect it to be in the figures of around $1.3 trillion. So, how do you think the niche mocktail segment will be impacted by this growth, and how will it impact the sector?
Yeah, no, undoubtedly, the FMCG sector is growing, and
Mm-hmm.
there are obviously various factors supporting the increase of FMCG sector and the brands coming up. So, the increase in disposable income of middle class people, as well as urbanization and aspiration towards, having better products, better consuming brands, is one of the key factors supporting the growth of FMCG industry.
Okay.
And beverage play a vital role in that. Beverage industry has been growing year on year, and for next 5 years it's almost supposed to grow at a CAGR of 9%.
Okay.
And but the mocktails, the mocktails also will play a vital role. If you see the current scenario, we are used to have these mocktails at restaurants, cafes, or bars, but there is a clear gap where ready to drink mocktail versions are not readily available as a brand in the market.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to ask what comes in your mind if you want to have a say a name of a mocktail brand,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have it.
Yeah.
So there is a clear gap, but consumers are aware about it
Mm-hmm.
because they are having them into any restaurants or cafes. So when these beverages, these mocktails basically will come into a ready to drink version, it will have a significant market share in whole of the beverage industry.
Okay. That was kind of insightful. Given the fact that yours is a healthier option that you're trying to make, so it's more of an innovation that you're trying to bring into this sector. So, in that perspective, what are the challenges that you have faced in raising funds for your startup?
So I'll say beverage industry. It is also called the graveyard for brands,
Yeah,
if I'm not wrong.
yeah.
So a lot of brands will come in, they will go. So ensuring and giving the confidence to the investors that your brand will actually make a difference and will sustain and be a a unicorn, or maybe a brand that will stay in the market, is a very challenging thing right now. But what investors as well as consumers are looking at are innovative products.
Mm-hmm.
So if your product doesn't have an innovation, so I will say you do a lot of marketing, you do a lot of distribution, that will not help, because ultimately the consumer should feel the value. So that value we are able to right now provide to the consumers. That's why we are having a very good repeat purchases, a
Okay.
very good consumer feedback, as well as the investors, those who are joining in for the current rounds,
Mm-hmm.
have uh, give have gained that confidence, ki, okay, this is something which actually creates actually fulfills the need and solves a problem of the market.
Okay. So, Dipinder, you were talking about the value proposition of your startup that you want to bring towards the investors while fundraising, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you position your product? Is it going to be a lifestyle brand? Is it an alternative to alcoholic drinks? Or is it something related to wellness focused like a refreshment on those lines?
So we are not associating our brand with like it's a substitute to alcohol, or it's a mixer for alcohol,
Mm-hmm.
but it's more of a blend of a lifestyle appeal
Okay.
with authentic taste.
Okay.
So what at Swizzle we are trying to provide is a solution that is trendy, social, and refreshing, at the same time a healthier option.
Okay.
Going further, we are also like with our continuous focus on innovation, coming up with new products. We'll be launching more products into more healthier versions. Maybe it's a zero calorie, again made of all natural ingredients, and the sweetener agent will be monk fruit based sweetener. And so the value proposition,
Okay.
so the the audience we are targeting is the Gen Z's and the millennials,
Understood.
those who are looking for aspirational drinks, the trendy drinks. This kind of generation, they
Mm-hmm.
are very much okay to post everything on Insta.
Yeah.
They will be like, I am consuming this, I am hanging out there. And the products which we came up with
Mm-hmm.
were not only just offering a value proposition in terms of quality and ingredients, but at the same time we worked very well on packaging. So the packaging is quite appealing, which is photogenic. People can share them onto their social media platforms, and that way we are positioning our brand as a lifestyle appealing brand,
Okay.
with providing a authentic taste to the consumers.
Understood. So you had mentioned about the Gen Z and the trendy part that made this as a reality, right? So adding to that, so that part, which brand probably across the sectors you can say with a similar business model that appeals to the Gen Zs and trendy thing that inspired you and your startup?
Yeah, so in my sector only, I'll say, not into non-alcoholic, but
Okay.
alcoholic, a very famous brand, Bira.
Yeah.
They really worked well on product as well as packaging.
Yeah.
Their brand mascots, their cool packaging actually helped them to penetrate the market, because people were, feeling very confident and elevated while having those beers. They felt ki okay, this is adding to their life lifestyle. So that way they were able to attract the consumer base, which I am talking Gen Zs and millennials,
Mm-hmm.
because they are more active into lifting up their social status, we'll say, or they want to have those
Yeah,
aspirational
definitely.
experiences in
They
their
make the
daily life.
market
Correct.
in today's day and age.
Yeah, and they are the trendsetters for the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we took our inspiration from. Aligns a lot with our industry, but yeah, a completely different sectors.
Mm-hmm.
Those are alcoholic, we are non-alcoholic,
Understood.
but it has been a great inspiration for us.
Okay, interesting. So, Dipinder, let's talk about the investments in the sector of FMCG. I came across an article that said the Jubilant Bhartiya Group has acquired an enormous stake worth of $1.47 billion in Hindustan Coca-Cola beverages. That's a really big stake and a really big capital influx into the sector itself. So investments of this sort, where do you see how do you see it impacting the growth strategies of likewise players in the sector, and how do you see the sector growing as a whole?
So yeah, it's a very good question actually. I'll say because how the startup should see evolving, how the space is evolving. So if the Jubilant Group, take a major stake into Coca-Cola
Mm-hmm.
beverages, they are seeing a potential in the market. So with this investment shows that yeah, there is a very high potential in the market for the brands to come in to capture a significant market cap and be in the market. There are few other examples to it. If you see Yoga Bar,
Mm-hmm.
recently acquired
Yeah.
by Tata Groups, and this only not helps the startups to gain a market presence. This also helps them to grow at a faster rate.
Okay.
So with these mergers and acquisitions with the larger players, with the strategic investors, what happens is they uh, utilize their expertise, their distribution networks, their existing presence in the market
Mm-hmm.
to actually accelerate their growths.
Okay.
Obviously those funds helps them to support that growth. And for the new startups coming in, I'll say ki if you are really able to crack a problem,
Mm-hmm.
then there is a huge potential
Okay.
where these strategic investors, there are different levels.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about just ITC acquiring a company.
Mm-hmm.
It's about there are strategic investors in the market, those who will join you at seed rounds,
Mm-hmm.
help with their expertise, help you to grow. So these strategic investments actually plays a vital role in stating that there is a huge potential for brands to come up
Yeah.
and have a decent or a larger stake
Yeah.
according to the value proposition they are offering in the market.
Yeah. So basically, maybe you can to sum up what you're saying is that you had mentioned, right, your sector might be labeled as the graveyard sector,
Yeah,
but you are saying that there's a lot of investment opportunities and investments are flowing in, and not just now, but even down the line. That's what you're saying.
yeah, definitely.
Understood.
It's just you have to create a value for the consumers.
Yeah, makes sense. So, from investments, let's move towards this main topic that I have in mind. So, the Indian economy is growing, but so is the inflation as well. And when it comes to inflation, majorly food inflation comes to an, it impacts quite a bit on the inflation rate. So, and therefore, it also impacts the discretionary spending of the consumer. So, how do you think the beverage sector mainly, helps in balancing the premium pricing and also the affordability aspect? Can you give me
Mm.
an insight about it?
So for that, I'll say it is the hardest part for any beverage brand,
Mm-hmm.
to maintain affordability as well as providing a value proposition to the consumers. So if you see, the brands which have come up with a higher MRPs, premium pricing,
Mm-hmm.
there will be rare brands you will find doing 100 crore revenue also. In if you took take for last 10 years of startup reports, the premium pricing beverages hasn't crossed 100 crore of revenue line. They are trying to focus on marketing
Yeah.
to make it more aspirational through their marketing campaigns and trying to sell a premium priced product to the consumers.
Mm-hmm.
But considering India especially, I'll say India is a very price sensitive market.
Yeah.
So here we want best quality at best price.
Yeah.
No doubts in that.
Exactly.
And as a brand, we are now our focus should be ensuring both to
Mm-hmm.
them. Rather than I'll say to spend on marketing initially, we should work on the supply chain.
Yeah.
Beverage is a core supply chain business.
Mm-hmm.
You do immense amount of marketing, but if you're not available for the consumer, it's hard to generate a ROI out of that. If he's ordering through some e-commerce platforms, you're sending out your beverages, a lot of cost will go down into deliveries,
Yeah.
damages. So this is something we have gained from our experience also.
Okay.
So you have to work on your core of your supply chain, how you can minimize the costs there,
Okay.
and that reduction in cost you have to give it to the consumer,
Makes sense.
so that consumers can take have a repeat purchase to your beverages.
Mm-hmm.
Beverages are mostly taken consumed into summertime when it's hot. You want to have some cold drinks
Yeah.
maybe twice or thrice in a day.
Mm-hmm.
You won't like to spend a higher amount repeatedly on those beverages.
Yeah.
So that's where the problem lies. So affordability, I think, can be achieved with cracking your supply chain
Okay.
rather than focusing on maybe creating a bigger and bigger consumer base,
Okay.
because you have to see your P&L,
Yeah.
that it works hand in hand.
Yeah. So what you're saying is maybe make it a win-win both for you as the producer and then the consumer.
Yeah, definitely, and that can be only cracked through supply chain, because I'll tell you it's really hard in India to give that value proposition at the
Mm-hmm.
affordable pricings,
Yeah.
because of the inflation, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
The transportation charges, which were 10,000 5 years back, it is 15,000 today,
Yeah.
with the surge in the
Mm-hmm.
petrol and diesel prices.
Yeah.
So no doubt, it's hard for the brands, but ultimately they have to work on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how they can solve the problem of supply chain rather than trying to spend on marketing. This is like what my thought
Mm-hmm.
on. They can be different.
Survival of the fittest.
Yeah. Adding to it, I'll say ki we also face the similar problem. We were looking to control our prices,
Mm-hmm.
considering the price factor in the market. So what helped us to achieve that is our own proprietary extraction of flavors.
Mm-hmm.
So we are not dependent on any flavor houses
Okay.
to source those flavors, which helps us to reduce our cost in terms of flavors
Okay.
very well.
Mm-hmm.
So we have captured that part ki okay, that way we can reduce the cost of flavors and provide that value to the consumers.
Mm-hmm.
Going down the line, we are also implementing further strategies to bring in the third party manufacturings into in-house.
Okay.
That will eventually help us to reduce our cost drastically, and
Okay.
hence provide those premium solutions to the consumers
Mm-hmm.
at a very affordable point.
Understood. Yeah, sure. I think you gave a very good insight on a very difficult question, I believe. So let's wrap up the podcast with this question that I want to ask you. What is the one piece of advice that you will give to the investors who are looking to tap into this emerging FMCG beverage sector?
It's very hard to give advice to investors, but yeah, I would like to make a comment in that. When investors are looking at any FMCG startup, maybe
Mm-hmm.
it's beverage, maybe it's snacks, it can be any kind of FMCG product. We should look if the product has achieved a product market fit
Mm-hmm.
in terms of not a scale, but in terms of if it is a small consumer base also. Maybe it's a consumer base of 1,000 people, but those 1,000 people are actually believing in that product, having a repeat purchase, and you are also convinced with the product. So you should not look a lot into how much presence you have been able to pull it off from the market, or how much consumer base you have, what numbers you are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Typically investment in FMCG
Mm-hmm.
especially works around numbers.
Mm.
How much revenue are you doing?
Yeah.
Tech pre-revenue fundings will also happen. It's a different sector, I agree.
Yeah.
But if the product has been developed, if it is top-notch product, you should take a bet on it.
Yeah.
The marketing and the distributions can be taken care. Obviously, the founders, you have to see the founders behind that company. Are they visionary enough to, are they enthusiastic enough to, dedicated enough to
Yeah.
pull it off in the market? But yeah, innovation, if they are coming with an innovative product, if they are creating a product which fits to the demand, to
Mm-hmm.
the need of consumers, I think they should take a bet.
Makes sense. Thank you, Deepender. I think that was a very good, insightful session for us and the investors and the viewers, I guess, on the FMCG and the beverage sector, particularly to the mocktail niche segment. So I think investors and viewers, this is the end of the first episode. I think you have got insightful thoughts and datas. Let's catch up in the second episode. Thank you.